in the biggest win of his career. And a huge right hand from Ugas. That jab, yet again, and a good hook threw Ugas off balance, and he might have stunned him there. Now Barrios the body and then connects on the left cross, stuns Ugas, and a huge left hook. Stay there. Ugas stunned him.
4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, look at me. Come here. You all right?
Pacquiao beat and positioned a lot of fighters with his feet and his movement. He has a dance rhythm when he attack his target.
Y me partiría el corazón. Ojalá que no sea. Yo creo y voy a que gana Manny Pacquiao. Pero si es lo contrario, que gana Mario Barrios, va a demostrar que es el mejor.
It's one thing when analysts are split over a fight, but it's something entirely different when Legends fighters who felt Manny Pacquiao's speed, his angles, his storm can't agree either. That's what sets this fight apart. For the first time in years, Hall of Famers, champions, and even a man who once stood across from Pacquiao in the ring are divided in their predictions. And that division is exactly what's drawing the boxing world closer to their screens. This isn't just another comeback bout. At 45, Pacquiao isn't chasing money, he's chasing relevance, stepping in against a younger, hungrier Mario Barrios, a fighter who's climbed through the welterweight ranks with pressure, power, and calculated patience. On paper, Pacquiao's resumed dwarfs Barrios' 8 world titles in 8 divisions, dozens of elite names crossed off, but boxing doesn't respect resumes. When Father Time steps into the ring, that's why this fight has turned legends into chess players, each seeing a different outcome when they run the mental simulation. Some, like Bernard Hopkins, see themselves in Pacquiao, a man who refuses to fade quietly, one who steals rounds with intelligence rather than youthful aggression. Others, like Marco Antonio Barrera, focus on the numbers legs that no longer move the same, timing that slips under pressure, and the risk of facing a man still writing his prime chapters. Then there's Erdnis Ugas, the man who handed Pacquiao a defeat that felt like the end, now watching from the sidelines with noticeable hesitation. And that hesitation, that split, is what makes this fight so intriguing. The legends aren't just picking winners. They're revealing their values: experience versus momentum, legacy versus hunger, the past versus the future. Because this isn't simply Pacquiao versus Barrios, it's a debate about what prevails when the clock starts winning the fight. Up next, we break down every opinion, every prediction, and why even the greats can't agree on how this chapter ends.
Pacquiao beat and positioned a lot of fighters with his feet and his movement. He has a dance rhythm when he attack his target.
He closes that distance incredibly fast.
He's not flat-footed. He's here.
Yeah.
He stays on his toes. He got a bounce to him. See, when
If there's one legend who didn't hesitate to side with Pacquiao, it's Bernard Hopkins, and it's easy to see why. Hopkins sees a reflection of himself in Manny, a warrior unwilling to let age write his final chapter. Speaking with TalkSport, Hopkins praised Pacquiao's experience and speed, asserting that even at 45, those assets could still frustrate a younger, less seasoned fighter like Mario Barrios. From Hopkins, this isn't just flattery, this is coming from a man who captured world titles well into his late 40s and reinvented himself through ring IQ and patience. He's always believed that intelligence, conditioning, and timing can overcome raw athleticism. And in Pacquiao, he sees one of the rare fighters still capable of weaponizing those tools long after others would have walked away. His prediction? A decision win for Pacquiao. No talk of knockouts or wild brawls. Hopkins envisions control, angles, and tempo. A classic Hopkins game plan: take the younger man's confidence early, limit his clean shots, and chip away at his belief round by round. What stands out is how Hopkins focuses on what Pacquiao still has rather than what he's lost. Sure, Manny's legs aren't what they were when he dismantled De La Hoya or stormed Keith Thurman. But Hopkins insists that Pacquiao's experience can neutralize Barrios' pressure if used wisely. He doesn't need to outwork him, Hopkins said. He just needs to outthink him. It's a philosophy that extended Hopkins' own career well beyond expectation. But it raises a tough question: can Pacquiao still apply that level of cerebral control? Or is Hopkins betting more on nostalgia than reality? Regardless, Hopkins is clearly placing his faith in legacy over youth, in strategy over chaos. And for those who still believe in Pacquiao's ability to defy time, Hopkins just became their loudest, most credible advocate.
Está activo, es el campeón actual, no es tan complicado como los campeones que hay, pero arriba del ring se va a volver peligroso. Y también hay que recordar, Mario Barrios fue el que le ganó y retiró a Ugas. ¿Qué pasó con Ugas? Ugas fue el que le ganó a Manny Pacquiao. Es una matemática que no sale.
Marco Antonio Barrera, one of the most respected Mexican boxing legends and a man who shared eras with Pacquiao, doesn't see things the same way Bernard Hopkins does. In a TalkSport interview, Barrera was blunt: the numbers don't add up in Manny's favor, and coming from someone who fought well into his later years, his opinion carries more than nostalgia carries experience. Barrera's argument focuses on three things: age, activity level, and Barrios' relentless, pressure-heavy style. At 45, Pacquiao isn't just fighting a younger man, he's fighting a fighter whose stamina is still driven by youth, whose pace rarely breaks. Barrera has been dragged into those deep waters before by younger opponents, and he sees Barrios as exactly that type. It's not that Pacquiao's skills have fallen off a cliff, it's whether his body can handle 12 rounds of non-stop pressure without slowing just enough for Barrios to take over. Yet, there's clear respect in Barrera's words. He doesn't dismiss Pacquiao's chances, acknowledging his legendary career and his ability to still end fights with sudden speed. But Barrera is realistic. When the age gap is this wide, he leans toward youth. Barrios is in his prime, Barrera said, pointing to the hunger and physical resilience that define a fighter still chasing greatness. His take is deeply rooted in the Mexican boxing ethos: volume, aggression, and the will to endure over surgical precision. Barrios embodies that style, and for Barrera, that's the deciding factor. Fans who agree see this not as disrespect, but realism. Legends eventually slow. And against someone who doesn't stop pressing forward, even one tired round can cost everything. So while Hopkins champions experience, Barrera raises the flag for youth, pressure, and forward motion. It's not a casual pick for Barrera, it's simply the logical one.
You know, there's no one answer to that question. You know what? Maybe he can do it. Maybe he knows the right thing to do. And wait, it's just the way you feel.
For you, just your...
That's not my job. I can't do that. I can't do it. No.
Pick and choose, okay.
Sugar Ray Leonard didn't commit to a clear pick like Hopkins or Barrera, but his insight may be the most revealing of them all. In his TalkSport appearance, Leonard said that if Pacquiao focuses, he can still win, emphasizing the mental game as the true battleground. To Leonard, this fight isn't about whether Manny still has the fastest hands or the best footwork. It's about whether he can mentally and physically prepare to execute a disciplined 12-round strategy against a younger, more active opponent. Leonard's been there. He knows the difference between fighting for nostalgia and fighting with serious purpose. His remarks made it clear Pacquiao doesn't need to rely solely on athleticism anymore. He needs to fight smarter than ever. Leonard spoke about timing, smart shot selection, and conserving energy early to have enough left for the championship rounds. He also respected Barrios' strengths, acknowledging that a prime fighter with a high work rate can create serious problems if Pacquiao lets the pace get away from him. Still, Leonard's tone felt cautiously optimistic. He's long believed that truly great fighters can tap into a different gear when the stakes demand it. In Leonard's eyes, Pacquiao is one of those rare men capable of leaning on experience, instinct, and pride to summon greatness even when the body lags behind. What sets Leonard's perspective apart is that he places the burden of victory squarely on Pacquiao's shoulders. His words weren't a prediction, they were a challenge. Focus means more than just training, it means mentally preparing to fight through age, fatigue, and doubt. Leonard's view might frustrate fans looking for a simple answer, but it reveals how true champions see the sport. For him, it's not age versus youth or speed versus pressure, it's about who can impose their will mentally. And if Pacquiao can do that, Leonard believes Barrios' youth may not matter, but if he can't, that youth could become the deciding force.
He might be 40 in his 40s, but he did beat a very, very game Thurman, a very dangerous punch with both hands, and he neutralized him pretty easily. So I was looking for that Pacquiao that came in, and I'll tell you, he showed tonight, and he's still got a lot left.
Of all the voices surrounding Pacquiao's return, Yordenis Ugas's opinion carries a different kind of weight. He's not a Hall of Famer from a bygone era or a distant analyst. He's the man who retired Pacquiao, handing him his final professional loss in 2021, and his view isn't the all-in endorsement that Manny's fans might have hoped for. In recent interviews, Ugas didn't pick Barrios outright, but he also didn't back Pacquiao. Instead, he called it a high-risk fight and admitted it's much closer than people realize. Ugas knows what Pacquiao looks like in this phase of his career. When they fought, Manny still had bursts of speed, but he struggled with consistency. His footwork often lagged behind his offense, and against Ugas's controlled pace and distance, he found it hard to adjust in the later rounds. Ugas sees Barrios as a different type of threat, more pressure, more chaos, but believes the same central question remains: can Pacquiao's legs keep up when forced to fight every second of every round? What makes Ugas's take especially valuable is the respect he shows for both fighters. He called Pacquiao a legend for even taking such a risky fight at this stage. But he also made it clear Barrios isn't the same man who lost to Gervonta Davis or Keith Thurman. Ugas, who lost to Barrios in 2023, saw firsthand how much Barrios has evolved stronger, more confident, and better at cutting off the ring. Ugas's reluctance to fully endorse Pacquiao isn't disrespect, it's honest caution from someone who's been in the ring with both. His insight is rare. He's felt their punches, sensed their rhythms, and understands their limits better than any commentator. In a way, Ugas is voicing what many fans are quietly wondering. Pacquiao's greatness is unquestioned, but time remains undefeated. And if the man who beat Manny at 42 and lost to Barrios at 28 can't confidently pick him now, it's a sign that this fight is far from a sure thing.
Pacquiao again, the aggressor. Advantage early over the first couple of rounds. Good right hand. That's come on. Call Pacquiao on the right. Was a nice little move.
Does make it visible that time. And now another right hand.
Clear bell, John.
Yes.